Welcome to Scorpio season. Welcome back to the Queen Rising podcast. I am your host, Misty, and I help women release self-doubt, remember who they are, and step into more confidence with more energy, more alignment. Today, we're talking about Scorpio season. So in this video, I'm going to give you the highlights of Scorpio season, some of the transits, the bigger theme. So the sun moved into Scorpio on October 22nd, and it will stay here until November 21st. Scorpio is the 8th sign of the zodiac. It is a water sign. Water signs usually represent intuition, emotions, depth. Our water signs are highly intuitive and even a little psychic. But Scorpio's not like the other water signs. If Cancer is laying on the beach and Pisces prefers to swim with the fishes, Scorpio wants to discover what is at the bottom of the ocean. So some of the themes that represent Scorpio season is transformation, depth, emotional intensity. So here is something to ponder. What is one part of your life you're ready to transform? So let's talk more about Scorpio as a zodiac sign. Scorpio is a water sign, but they are a fixed water sign. So fixed energy is stubborn. So there are 3 modalities in astrology. And so you'll notice every sign, every element, like a fire, the element of fire, the element of water, the element of air, the element of earth, they all have 3 individual qualities. They are either a cardinal sign, which represents new beginnings, initiation, a fixed sign, which is like they're maybe not so great at starting projects, but they are very consistent, so they can hold it. And or they are a mutable sign, which mutable is about change, adaptability. And Scorpio is a fixed water sign. And so we can think about fixed water as ice. Scorpios are resourceful, they're intuitive, they are psychic, they are magnetic. They are co-ruled between Mars and Pluto. So Mars is the traditional ruler of Scorpio before Pluto was discovered. So Mars rules Aries and Scorpio. Scorpio is different than Aries, where Aries is explosive, impulsive, fiery, ready to burst. Scorpio is more behind the scenes, a little secretive. They are resourceful. They are more secretive on how they move. They don't want to show everyone their cards. And that is partly because Scorpio has a hard time trusting. So often Scorpios will put up a mask until they know that you are a safe place for them. They are also co-ruled by Pluto, and Pluto is a planet of power, destruction, rebirth. Pluto is a planet of destroying things that are not working so it can be rebuilt better. So when you can understand Mars, which is all about our drive, our motivation, and also Pluto, which is about death and destruction and rebirth, then you can start to understand the depth of Scorpio. So we just came out of Libra season, and Libra is all about love and beauty and relationships. Libras can be more surface level as our air signs can. They're all up in their head. Scorpio takes that and takes it a little bit deeper, where Libra rules over relationships and compromise. Scorpio wants to go deep. It wants intimacy. Scorpio is known as the investigator of the zodiac. So they are more interested in understanding not what you're doing, but why you're doing it. Scorpio is interested in getting under the hood of the car. So when I was first starting out in business, my story about I was helping women lose weight. I was giving them meal plans. I was giving them workout plans, but I felt a little empty. I was like, I wanted to go deeper. I wanted to understand why they turned to sugar. I wanted to understand why they weren't motivated to work out. And I had my first astrological reading and found out that I'm a Scorpio rising. So if you follow my other astrology podcasts, I talk about your rising sign is part of your soul's purpose. And there's a reason why I no longer felt fulfilled just to give people meal plans and just to give people workout plans, just to tell people what to do. I wanted to go deeper into what really motivates you. Why are you turning to sugar? Why are you turning to sweets or alcohol or these other vices? And I really started to transform my business when I started sharing the most vulnerable stories, the most vulnerable parts of myself, the parts that I was afraid to share, parts about me emotionally eating, parts of me finding myself at the bottom of a wine bottle, the parts of me where I shared about my ex-husband's infidelity. But when I shared the most vulnerable parts of myself, that is when I got clients. That's when other clients said, I see you, and now I understand. Now, every sign has strengths and shadows. So we can talk about the good parts of Scorpio, which is they're very deep. They are great listeners. They're very compassionate. A lot of people come to them with their problems and they're able to hold space for someone. They're also really good with psychology. They typically love like things like crime, like the CSI type shows. Scorpio likes to dive deep into topics that not everyone is comfortable with. Topics like money, power, crime, death, sex. However, let's talk about the shadow sides of Scorpio, where Scorpio, I did allude to this earlier, where they have a hard time trusting other people. They can read people really well, but most people cannot quite figure out Scorpio because they put on this mask and this hard exterior until they know you are a safe space for them. Scorpios feel things very deeply. Their emotions can turn dark. Some other shadow sides of Scorpio can be jealousy, secrecy, and stubbornness. They can be so intense that a lot of people don't necessarily know or understand Scorpio. They are one of the more misunderstood signs of the zodiac. And we can think about the archetype of Scorpio is a scorpion. And if you think about scorpion, they have this outer shell and they have a snapper on their tail, and at any point that they feel threatened, they are not afraid to use that. And you will be stung. You will feel that sting. A big shadow side of Scorpio is not being able to let things go. We talked about that their stubbornness, they have this fixed quality where they're able to hold things. But part of that is they have a hard time of letting things go. They can hold on to things too long. They are very loyal, but sometimes that loyalty comes at a cost. So where are you holding on to something when actually you should be letting it go? Dates for Scorpio season, October 22nd, the sun moved into Scorpio. On November 5th, we have a full moon in Taurus. And we've talked about this, but anytime we have a full moon, the moon is opposite the sun. So Taurus is the sister sign of Scorpio, where they're polar opposites. They have a lot of characteristics that are similar because Taurus is also a fixed sign. They are stubborn. They have a hard time letting things go, but they are an earth sign, so they're more practical. If Taurus is practical, Scorpio is more spiritual. Taurus is about what can we see, what can we feel. They're a very sensual sign. They rule all the five senses, where Scorpio wants to know the things that are not able to be seen. And I will do another video when it comes a little closer to that full moon in Taurus, and we will talk about the specific energies of that full moon. But the day after the full moon, Venus moves into Scorpio. Now, Venus is the ruler of the full moon because she rules Taurus as well as Libra. And Venus does not do well in Scorpio because Venus does well over love and relationships and law of attraction, manifestation. But Scorpio is a little bit too dark and too deep that then Venus really likes. On November 20th, we have a new moon in Scorpio, and I will do another video all about that new moon in Scorpio when it happens, and I'll pull up the chart and we'll look at the specific energies of that chart. So make sure you are subscribed if you're not. And also, I just started a Substack. If you prefer to read about the energies of the new moon and the full moon, and or you would like updates delivered directly into your inbox or on the Substack app, then I will leave the link below on where you can find those and you can subscribe and get those directly dropped into your email. Now, where you're going to feel this most is dependent on your own personal birth chart. And this is where we can personalize the new moons and the full moons. We look at where Scorpio is happening in your birth chart. Just like there are 12 signs, there are also 12 houses. And this depends on your rising sign. So you will need to know your birth time to personalize this. But everyone is going to have Scorpio in a different area of your chart. Each house governs over a different area. And if you like my help in navigating the transits, I want to welcome you into my membership, the Sacred Alignment Society, where we dive deeper into astrology, learning how to personalize it for you, and how you can work with the intensity of Scorpio and where that shows up in your birth chart. But I just want you to sit and reflect on what area of your life are you ready to transform before this season ends. Now, Scorpio is about going within. So I want you to notice things that are happening during this Scorpio season. Start to notice what comes up to the surface, What secrets are being revealed? We also have Neptune that just retrograded back into Pisces, and Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. It's been in and out of Pisces for the past 15 years. And after it goes direct later this year and into next year, we will never have it in Pisces again in our lifetime. So you may notice some secrets that have been hidden from you over the past 15 years and or karmic patterns that are being released from the past 15 years. So start to notice the things that are coming up, and maybe it's being coming up to heal and to be let go of.